Tracking storms with the Valley's only live million-watt radar. Covering the heart of the Valley. This is WAFF 48 News Today.
Congress needs to be turned over somebody's knee and spanked real hard because they're acting like small children.
Loud and clear, people are fed up with Congress after the budget deadline passed at midnight and lawmakers failed to reach a deal.
The stalemate didn't stop the Affordable Health Care law from going into effect. This morning, Americans can now sign up for insurance coverage on the health care exchange.
And this morning, an investigation continues after police discovered 2 people shot to death inside a Huntsville apartment.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us on this Tuesday morning. I'm Tiani Jones.
And I'm Jim Abbott. A lot to get to this morning on this first day of October. But first things first, our weather, which is once again nice to start the day.
It is. Nice day to go out for a morning walk, walk that dog, right, Jeff?
Oh, yeah, definitely comfortable out there. I think if you're walking the dog, you'll be happy about it, and I think the dog will like it also, as it's a nice beginning to the day. We've been keeping an eye on any fog development. Still a possibility that we will see some of that, but right now, visibilities actually look pretty good. These are the latest updates came out here in the last few minutes, and visibility, as you can see across most of the area, 10 miles or better, so really not seeing a big problem with fog. Might see a patch or two of that on your drive into work, but right now doesn't look like it's going to slow things down too much for you this morning. Albertville this morning, a few clouds. We got an east wind at around 61 degrees there, and in fact, low 60s. Pretty common across the area this morning, and if you're not in the low 60s, and you're probably in the mid to upper 50s. Got a handful of those numbers as well out the door this morning. I'll say comfortably cool, maybe not needing the light jacket to start things off this morning, but kind of on the fringe there, maybe grabbing just a light windbreaker. Got 62 around 8 this morning. Should be quiet for the morning commute. Partly cloudy, 78 at the noon hour. Just a 10% chance for an afternoon shower. Otherwise, expecting a mild afternoon with highs in the low 80s. We are tracking higher rain chances for the weekend. We'll talk more about that in your weather on the 10s.
It's official today. The federal government will partially shut down for the first time in 17 years. You're looking at a live picture of Capitol Hill. Lawmakers in Washington worked late into the night, but they ended with no resolution on a budget to keep the government running. Later this morning, Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid says the Senate will reject a House attempt to tie a spending bill to the new health care law. The House continues to demand that the Affordable Health Care Act be defunded or delayed as part of a new budget.
They can send us 100 different little doodads, gizmos, and other kinds of things, but the ball is in their court.
The House has made its position known very clearly. We believe that we should fund the government, and we think there ought to be basic fairness for all Americans under Obamacare.
Speaker Boehner is demanding the formation of a House-Senate committee to negotiate a rollback of the Affordable Health Care Act, but Senate Democrats are refusing to do it.
NASA officials tell us that nearly the entire organization will shut down. The operation that runs the International Space Station will go on, but at a minimum level. The officials say only 34 employees at Marshall Space Flight Center are exempt from furloughs. Most of them work on the ISS. NASA says all employees that are not exempt will be furloughed immediately, and that means many people in the Valley will not go to work today. Nearly 3,000 inspectors with the Federal Aviation Administration are also furloughed this morning. They conduct safety inspections for airports, planes, and pilots. They also monitor airplane repair. National parks are closed today, including parks in DeKalb and Jackson counties. Officials at Little River Canyon National Park only had 4 hours to get everyone out of the park yesterday after they got word that that deadline had passed. Most of the 23 employees that work there and at Russell Cave National Monument in Jackson County are furloughed. A small staff will stay to keep the park safe. Now, the big impact here in the Tennessee Valley, of course, is Redstone Arsenal. Let's check in with WAFF 48's Lauren Morrison, who was at Gate 10 this morning. And Lauren, what are workers supposed to do today?
Employees should show up to work. They should stay in close contact, though, with their immediate supervisor to figure out exactly what's going on with their job. And that's because Garrison Commander Colonel Bill Marks says that each situation is different. And officials on Redstone Arsenal this morning are still trying to wrap their heads around this whole situation and figure out how this is going to impact the arsenal. And because of all these uncertainties, that Arsenal officials say they really don't know what this financial impact is going to be, in large part because we really don't know at this point in time how long this shutdown will last. Essential personnel, people who work in emergency services and security operations on Redstone, will not be affected by this shutdown. But Marshall Space Flight Center here on Redstone Arsenal will be hit hard. At 5:30, find out who will go and who will stay. Reporting live in Huntsville, Laura Morrison, WAFF 48 News.
Now, in addition to the military, other parts of essential departments will not be affected. Your mail will still be delivered, Social Security checks will still go out, and air traffic control will stay open.
Now back to the new Affordable Health Care Act that takes effect today. Right now, the Healthcare Exchange website is up and running. Americans can now sign up for coverage. People who don't have access to health insurance at work can start shopping for policies.
And on that website, you will see new plans that are offered if you're uninsured or if you buy coverage on your own. They'll be color-coded, bronze, silver, gold, and platinum, with bronze having the highest deductibles and copays, platinum having the lowest. You'll also see an application for assistance. Most people who come to the marketplace are going to qualify for assistance, so they won't pay the sticker price for any health plan. They'll get a reduction, a tax credit, and once you fill out the information in the application, you'll find out how much credit you have to go shopping for plans.
Now, open enrollment runs between October 1st and March 31st. Plans bought through the exchanges won't start until January 1st. Now, if you want your plan to start January 1st, you must sign up by December 14th. If you sign up in January or February, your coverage will start the following month.
5:06 right now. This morning, new details on a death investigation in South Huntsville. Police say they found 2 bodies during a welfare check at an apartment complex on High Ridge Drive last night. WAFF 48's Muriel Bailey joins us with what we learned overnight. Muriel?
Well, Jim, early this morning, police told us the victims are Roxanne Bice and Dan Chimenti, but they haven't said how the two are connected. Now, police stopped by the Reserve at Fairway Hills complex to do a welfare check around 9 o'clock last night. They say when they went into the apartment, they found both victims who had been shot. Now, investigators say one of the victims' wounds appear to be self-inflicted, but right now they're only calling this a death investigation. Now, we spoke with a neighbor who lives right next door, and coming up at 5:30, hear why she says this whole situation surprises her and it also scares her. Reporting live in the newsroom, Muriel Bailey, WAFF 48 News.
Happening today, jury selection begins in the trial for one of the Crystal murder suspects. A gag order has been placed on Jordan Creaky's trial, so we will not be able to have a camera inside the courtroom. Yesterday, Creaky withdrew his insanity plea. Investigators say 2 years ago, he and 2 other people killed 2 Crystal's restaurant employees in Decatur. It's now 5:07 this morning. New details on a jet that crashed at a California airport at 5:13, who investigators believe died in that accident.
We may have a motive in the killing of a Louisiana pastor during his sermon. At 5:17, the clue from 2 days before his murder.
And starting things off quiet around the area this morning. Just a little bit of cloud cover, a couple patches of fog. No big problems as you head out. Here's a live view with our Alpha Camera Network view from Research Park this morning. Temperature there, 65 degrees. Back in a few moments, track and rain for the weekend. We've got to look at that coming up in your weather on the 10. Stay with us.